Ain't it funny how they think they can stop me? Try to be me, but I'm so sorry you not me. They told me they like it when I get cocky. You cannot stop me.
You are now tuned into the Dads Who Live podcast. You have your host, Tyler Gaeta, and I have with me co-host
Jonathan Baumgartner.
All right, we're going to jump right into the housekeeping. We've been actually pretty fucking good at this lately. Usually I forget. But I really want to grow the show. I really want to add value, guys. So this is what the housekeeping's about. We don't ask for a monetary fee. There's no price. There's no monthly subscription, nothing that you have to pay for this podcast or any of my posts or anything that I put out. All that we ask is that you share the show. If we add a value to you at all, you tell a friend, they tell a friend, share it on Spotify, share it on iTunes, share it on IG, share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube, whatever the fuck it is, guys. Share the show. There's thousands of downloads on this thing in the last few months. There's hundreds of downloads every single week with every episode. That's hundreds of guys that should be sharing the show, which should be easily duplicating into thousands of downloads every single week, and it hasn't been. So I need your guys' help. If you guys don't tell somebody, this thing's never going to get out there because I'm not going to fucking do promotion. I'm not going to do paid ads. I'm not going to have advertisements on the show. I hate that shit. So if we add a value, we're doing our part. Tell a friend. We really appreciate your support. We have Badass Apparel. I have a new shirt coming out. It'll be out by the time this airs for Father's Day. Hats, shirts, hoodies, all kinds of shit. www.dadswiftapparel.com. We're on IG as Dads Who Lift Apparel. Facebook is Dads Who Lift Apparel. We also have a Facebook group called Dads Who Lift Official. Again, this is a group on Facebook of 55,000 like-minded dads trying to be the best selves and stay fit. If that's something that interests you, check that group out. Did you have, was it Brooks' birthday party last weekend?
Yeah, it was.
I know this is going to be a few weeks later that we air this, but did that, and just so you guys know, we're in a transition where Laurel, our media director, I've talked about it before, but she's moving back out of state, so we have a transition where we have a new media director hired already that's going to be coming into place. But we're kind of pre-recording and pre-shooting some things so that we don't run out of content when we're doing that transition. So the ones that we're shooting now will actually be out a few weeks later. So, but yeah, how'd the birthday party go?
It was amazing. He's
Yeah?
5. It's just really cool to see how inquisitive he is and how he's starting to separate himself from me and being his own person. He still looks to me very much, and Caitlin tells me all the time, like, his number one thing is he just wants approval from you in everything he does. It doesn't matter. He just wants dad's approval, which I'm so honored to be able to hold that merit in his life, that I am that factor for him. It's just my biggest blessing. But it was good, man. He's in pre-K, and I was living out west part of town here, so he's pre-K out there, but I'm now living completely opposite side of town. Moved in with a girlfriend. We're going to buy a house down there, so I invited all of his school friends. A lot of them did show up. It was fun just to be able to see him run around and not want to just be on Dad's side the whole time, but like, listen, Dad, I got my own friends. Let me do my thing.
Yep.
And it was just so cool to have that interaction. And I'm a very vocal person. I try to be very communicative, and he has picked that trait up on me. So he does not have any issue sharing with how great his day was or how happy he is. And I think it's a great thing that he does that. It just makes everyone around him even happier. But he went around all day, oh, it's the best birthday, the single best day I've ever had. I mean, as a parent, you want that,
That's
and
awesome.
His birthday is May 5th, and he turned 5. So it was a 5-5-5
That's
birthday.
sweet.
So we kind of played it up, and we went to the nines, the whole urban air, bumper cars, jungle gym, rope obstacle course, all that good stuff. So I mean, he still talks about it. He has a lot of fun.
I had Braden's last musical as an elementary school student last night, and it was emotional as shit, man. It was awesome, but it was emotional as shit. He's in middle school next year, and I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know how this went so fast. It's been a blink of an eye, man. I really don't. Value the time that you have with your children. People that have young kids that listen to this podcast, value that time. Value the time when he's 5, because soon enough you'll be looking back and now he's 12 and he's in middle school, and then he's going to be in high school, and he's going to be in college, and he's out of your house. And, man, it just goes so fast. He's still always going to be, even though he's getting big, and he's so big now, he's always going to be my little boy. you know?
100%.
And it's wild. It's fucking wild. I really, so they made a video of, we had to submit a bunch of pictures, and I helped them get these pictures of just like throughout his childhood. And they made a time-lapse video that every kid created, and we watched these videos before the musical, and I about lost my shit.
I bet.
But I'm so grateful for the time that him and I have spent together, and the special time that him and I have been able to spend together, all the trips we've been able to take, all the weekends that we've had together, all just the special fucking moments and times we had together, because for years it was just me and him. Right? Which is a blessing and a curse, right? There's a lot of things he missed out on as well on the other side. But I tried to do my best, and we've been able to create a bond that I feel is unlike no other, and spend time together that most father-son don't get to do by themselves.
Right.
And I'm just super fucking grateful for that, man. Like, I know he's going to look back. God, I hope he looks back on his childhood and just says, man, I had lots of good times with Dad.
Right.
You know, and these pictures showed us. It was fucking cool.
That's awesome. Those are the tearjerker moments.
They are, man.
That's the one you put in your heart box. I've said this before. Moments like that, you need a special place and memory. And when you're having a bad day or you're in a bad spot, like, hey, pull that out and keep on keeping on. For sure. What I want to talk about today is how you talk to yourself. And so self-talk is going to be the title of this episode, self-talk. And your thoughts are the single most important thing that you have that dictates and shapes your life. I'm going to say that one more time. Your thoughts are the single most important things that you have that shape and dictate your life. Thoughts turn into things. To put this very simplistically, thoughts turn into things. But if you truly think about this, right, your thoughts shape everything. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your thoughts shape your actions, which then shapes how your life forms and what you have in your life. So if there's something, if you're unhappy most days, if you find yourself living in fear or anxiety or depression or pain, or you're just plain not happy, or you have an area of your life that's not going well, right? It's not what you want it to be. The first thing that you need to do is look back at your thoughts and say, what are my thoughts about this certain thing in my life? What are my thoughts about things in life? How is my viewpoint, my perspective on things in life, right? Mm-hmm. And if it turns out that I'm a very unhappy person, and everything is just negative, then fuck, dude, I've got negative thoughts about things in my life. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, you can change your thoughts. I grew up thinking that you couldn't. I grew up thinking that, hey, thoughts are just what they are, right? And there's to get into like the scientific portion of this, and I don't want to get too deep to where people can't understand, but there's conscious and there's unconscious. Mm-hmm. And there's conscious thoughts and there's unconscious thoughts. And your unconscious thoughts are formed by pattern, right? So it's formed by habit, right? And so there are thoughts that are going to pop up from the unconscious that are going to pop into your mind that are uncontrollable, right? The initial thought that pops up is uncontrollable, right? You have no say. You can't stop that thought from popping up, right? From the subconscious. But what you can do and what you can control is combating that thought. And when you combat that thought and you tell yourself the opposite. So I have this thought, I don't really, but I'm just using this as an example. I have this thought of fear that I am, say, undeserving, or let's say incapable, not capable of being a successful parent. I've got a fear that pops up with me, you know, stem from my childhood or what I was told as a kid, but I've got this fear and this thought that constantly pops up in my mind that I'm not a good parent. I'm not a good parent. I'm not a good parent. And I've had that thought pop up into my mind. Yeah. Absolutely. I think every parent probably has. Now, if I can take that thought from the unconscious, I can't stop that thought right now from coming up, right? But if I can take that thought from the unconscious and say, hey, that's bullshit, you are a good fucking parent. Talk to yourself. Hey, Tyler, that's fucking bullshit. You are a good parent, and here's why. Here's all these examples as to why you are a good parent, right? Now, that's taken that negative thought and turned it into a positive, which is going to now shape my actions, my emotions. First, it's going to shape my emotions. So I'm no longer sad thinking I'm a shitty parent. I've come up with all these reasons why I'm a good parent. Now I'm happy. I'm grateful that I'm a good parent. And that's going to shape, that emotion is going to shape my action throughout the day. Like, I'm going to walk different. I'm going to talk different. I'm going to act different. Even things that you don't notice, it all stems from your thoughts. Your 100%. Whole demeanor of who you are as a person stems from your fucking thoughts. Now, the really cool part,
when you combat your thoughts like this, guys, you know, we talked about your subconscious thoughts coming up that you can't control. When you combat your thoughts like this, guys, what you're doing is you're rewiring your subconscious. You're rewiring your brain. And through time, check up, if you don't believe me or you think this is hocus pocus bullshit, research Dr. Joe Dispenza. Watch some of his YouTube videos. He talks about this shit neurologically. It is a scientific fact. You rewire your thoughts so that now, through time, this doesn't happen overnight, but through time, it may take months, it may take years, depending on how strong that unconscious thought is, or subconscious thought is. But through time, you will change that thought. If you combat it enough, you will change that thought. And through time, the thought that comes up, instead of being I'm a shitty dad, will be I'm a good dad.
Right.
And that's your subconscious thought coming up. And God, that feels fucking good when your subconscious thought is, instead of, hey, I'm a shitty dad, is I'm a good fucking dad.
Right.
And when you're able to do that, because thoughts control everything in our life, you are able to shape your life and live the life that you want to have, right? One more thing, I'm sure John has a lot of good shit to say on this, but one more thing I want to touch on that I think is super important is be nice to yourself. The way that you talk to yourself fucking matters. And if you're beating up on yourself all the time and you allow those negative thoughts to run in your mind constantly, you are going to be depressed. You are going to have a low self-value. You're not going to think very highly of yourself, right? And you're not going to be happy. That's what it really comes down to, right? So be very conscious of the way that you talk to yourself. Now, that doesn't mean don't be critical at times, because I'm very critical of myself at times, and that's okay, right? That allows me to become better. That allows me to grow. That allows me to be I'm a perfectionist. That allows me to be perfect in the area that I want to be perfect in, right?
Right.
But even when I'm critical of myself, I know that I still have value. I know that I'm a good person. Like, there may be a thought in my mind that says, hey, man, you gave 75% to what you did on that today. You really you could give more, right? There's more that you could do, and this is how you can make it better, right? Okay, so that's a thought. That's a critical thought, right? But I also have that same thought right next to it of like, and you should be doing this because you're capable of it, and you're good enough for it, and you deserve it, right? So it's you can be critical without being completely just fucking negative. And all that I'm saying is just watch, just be cognizant. Most people don't even pay attention to the things that are going on in their mind and their thoughts, and then their life is completely fucked and they're unhappy and they're depressed and they're suicidal, right? Pay attention to your thoughts. This is something that people, like, it's so simple, but this is something that people don't even think of. Just start monitoring your thoughts. This shit takes time. Maybe for days, weeks, just monitor them. Write down reoccurring thoughts that come up. Write down patterns that come up, right? Just be cognizant of what's going on in your headspace. Once you figure out, like, okay, this is a common thought, right? Then I can start saying, okay, what's the opposite? What's the truth? Because that's not the truth. This is a thought that's based on my experience through my past, and maybe through fear, through a bad experience, whatever it may be. But this is not the truth. So what's the truth? What's the opposite? I'm going to start combating that thought with that, and then I'm going to live a fucking happy, joyous life.
Right. Man, there's a lot to unpack. Simple concept, but be kind to yourself goes a long way. Honestly, thinking about us, we've gone through some shit in our individual lives over the last 5 years that I've known you and befriended you. I mean, with just relationships and parenting and partners, you know, and having to combat some things. And before I knew the power of thoughts and words and like how they truly impacted my everyday life, I lived with someone who was a negative person.
How a Man Thinketh. Read that book.
Very good book. How a Man Thinketh. Also, the 4 Agreements, specifically on how words are powerful. Like, words are magical. Like, words speak spells and create things, like what you say.
There's a reason they call it spelling, because it's a spell.
It's a spell. You're casting a verbal, negative or positive spell, no matter what you think. It's a fact. You can disagree. But so as we were, just go back a few years ago now. Heck, it's been so long. Going through a divorce, a battle, I remember having conversations with you. There was tough times. And then where I would be verbally, audibly, and intentionally, all three of those, combating what someone was saying to me on a daily basis. It was warfare. It was fucking warfare. And I didn't realize I had to put on my own fucking armor and get in my own brain, like, you know what? That's not true about me. You think that about me, but it's not true. And this is what's true in my heart. And it took me months of going through, like, just heartache and pain and, I mean, a lot of bad relational stuff of someone just, you know, and it's no fault of anybody. You get in a bad spot. But again, just being on that barrage from someone, you're a piece of shit. You're a bad dad. You're a horrible partner. You're a joke. You're not going to be successful. I mean, just constantly hearing these things from someone who you value, you believe it. And after a while, I just started allowing all these things. Maybe I'm not a good dad. Maybe I'm never going to be successful like I think my version of success would have been at that moment. And so then I started living a life full of those beliefs. And I remember having conversations with you about, man, there's times where she would, in an argument, you're a piece of shit. No, I'm not. I'm a good man. In conversation, like, I'm not. I don't care. You just said that, but I'm verbally, audibly, intentionally casting out a different spell to negate. No, I'm not a bad dad. I'm a good dad. I love my son. You can't tell me.
What happened when you started doing that?
Oh, man, I became powerful.
And it stopped.
It stopped.
She stopped doing that.
Nope, you're wrong. I know it's in my, and she would try as hard as possible, but again, I just believed in my heart what my God, what I knew about myself to be true, what my intentions were. I'm a human. I fail. I fuck up. I made huge mistakes. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. Doesn't mean I'm a piece of shit dad. Doesn't mean, I think having that little bit of fear and controlling it is what makes me the best fucking dad in the world. I'm so afraid of not being perfect for him that I try every day. And I've gotten way better at it. I still fail. I still lose my temper. I still, raise my voice at him. I still get frustrated because I was busy at work and then I'm impatient. So I still fail. I'm real with myself. But I've learned to accept that I am a good dad because it's an everyday challenge. It's not just I failed once and now I'm a horrible dad. No, every single day I try intentionally to be this person. Same thing with my relationships. Same thing with, being business oriented. It's every day verbally. I like how you said, really take the time, do the self-reflection and accountability. What thoughts are coming? Get real with yourself. What thoughts are coming into your mind or are people putting into your head that you're letting be there without intentionally doing something to put it away from you? Because if you just allow them to come in and think, well, whatever. We talked about this last, hey, fuck the haters. That only goes so far. You can cast them out, but you actually have to have an actionable step, in my opinion, to combat the nonstop, because there's haters everywhere. There's the nonstop barrage, and the worst person is yourself. I can't tell you how many times, I'm fucking stupid. Why did I do that? Everybody says that. I guarantee you've said it to yourself. I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? And this is what you're talking about. Be nice to yourself. We're humans. We make mistakes. Your intentions are good if they are good. Your heart is pure if your heart is pure and you're trying to live well and do well. Don't be overly critical. Hey, we make mistakes. Learn and grow and accept that as the process and a part of the challenge. And then tell yourself, hey, I'm a good dad. I failed here. I'm sorry, son. I lost my temper. I shouldn't have yelled at you. I feel bad. I'm sorry. But I'm a good dad. Because tomorrow I'm going to be a good dad. I'm not going to believe the lie that I'm not a good dad.
I'm a good dad just because I realized it and apologized to you.
Right.
I think, I think back to the toughest times that I've had in my life when I was full of depression and anxiety and having panic attacks and having violent thoughts, and it was just a real bad place in my life. The time that I literally honestly thought that I was dying, that I thought I had a brain tumor, that I thought something was wrong with me because I was getting these crazy headaches and I didn't know what they were. I was getting all these migraines. I didn't know what they were. I think back to that time. And when I think back to the time where I was mentally at my worst, and I think of how I got out of that and why I got out of that, right? Because I don't have any of that now. None. Zero. And this was years ago. But when I think back to that, the correlation that I keep going to in my mind is that I was not self-evaluating, and I was not cognizant of what was truly going on in my headspace and in my mind. Mm-hmm. More so, I wasn't watching my thoughts at all. And I truly just didn't know. Like, this was the first time I had ever experienced, panic attacks or anxiety or depression or anything. I truly just didn't know what it was. Right? I mean, I literally thought, hey, dude, you got a fucking brain tumor. You're dying. Like, something's fucking happening, because this isn't right. You've never felt like this before.
Right.
I truly did not know what that was. But once I had this fucking moment where I've talked about it before where, dude, I saw all these doctors. I saw every fucking doctor in town. I had EKGs, MRIs. I had multiple MRIs. I had the MRIs where they fucking put the blood in your fucking, the dye in your ink and your veins. I've had fucking heart tests, all kinds of shit, stress tests. I had one fucking doctor that I went to that was just a primary fucking checkup. And he had asked how things were going, and I told him, hey, man, I got this shit going on. I don't know what it is, blah, blah, blah. I just explained it all to him. And he didn't even tell me. But I left that doctor's office, and on the diagnosis of the sheet of this checkup, it said severe anxiety, severe panic attacks, depression. And I looked at that sheet of paper, and this is the first time out of fucking probably 10 different doctors that anybody's ever said, hey, this is just mental.
Right.
Nothing's wrong with you physically. This is just mental. And I looked at that piece of paper, and it was like the biggest fucking waking up aha moment in my life. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
This is all in my head? Holy fuck, dude. And from that point forward, though, that was the biggest blessing in disguise ever, because from that point forward, I got better.
Good.
I started getting better. And the way that I started getting better is I started being cognizant of my thoughts and my mind. And so anytime I would have a panic attack come up, I would then talk myself out of that panic attack, which is the exact same thing of what I'm talking about with combating your thoughts. I would have a panic attack come up where I thought I was going to have a heart attack. That's what I did when I had panic attacks. My heart would start racing, and I thought, oh, fuck, I'm having a heart attack, right? So I would have this panic attack happen, and it would feel like I'm having a heart attack. And I would tell myself, hey, dude, you've had every test known to man. You're healthy as fuck. You're not having a heart attack. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not dying. This is just in your mind. And I would tell myself that over and over. And guess what? These panic attacks went from like 5 minutes long to 2 minutes long to 30 seconds long to 15 seconds long to 5 seconds long to none.
Good.
And it's all over just controlling my thoughts and watching the way that I tell myself and the way that I talk to myself and the way that I speak to myself and really what I believe, what I'm allowing myself to believe. So,
huge part of it.
The thoughts that come up, if we give them merit and we don't combat them and we believe them, if they're negative thoughts, then that's going to fuck us in every single aspect, right? It's going to fuck our emotions, then it's going to fuck our actions, which shows monetary in your life, right? There's a saying that, like, what you do today will be shown 3 months from now, right? And I truly believe that, right? So your actions today will actually come to fruition physically 3 months from now, 6 months from now, months down the road, right? Meaning whatever you do on a daily basis will show in your life months down the road, right? So if you're sleeping in every single day right now and not giving your full potential and not getting all the things done every single day that you're supposed to, that might not show in the first day, the first week, the first 2 weeks, right?
Right.
But 3 months down from the road, you're going to be able to tell from the life that you're living and the things that are happening in your life that, holy fuck, you've been dropping the ball.
Right.
The same exact thing happens with your thoughts, like exactly the same, right? So it might take days, weeks, months of me combating these thoughts to where before I actually see a physical difference in my life. But when you're able to look down the road, you will see a physical difference in your life.
Even being able to acknowledge, even the very first step, just acknowledging, hey, this is a bad thought. This isn't a true thought. That's a victory. And don't sell yourself short. Count all your victories. Hey, man, I don't believe that. That's a victory.
It's not who I am.
That's not who I am. That's a victory. You do that so much. Again, your brain is electrons firing and wiring electrical signals. That's what it is. You do this enough to where, hey, that's not true. After so many times, that instant thought, because again, you look at something and it triggers a memory. You smell something, we don't have control over those receptive sensors that trigger memories in our brain, but we can reprogram what's connected on the other side of that sensory. If every time you look at a swimming pool and you had a bad experience and you're afraid of getting in that water, well, eventually you start telling yourself, hey, the water's not going to harm me. The water can't actually do anything to me. The water's just there. It ain't doing shit to me. I'm psyching myself out. I'm getting in my head. Well, have that conversation. See if after a month of doing that, you don't put your feet in the water.
Yep.
Maybe 2 months, you go into the shallow end. Maybe 3 months in, you're fucking swimming laps.
Yep.
But it starts with at least recognizing the thought of, hey, it's just a thought and it cannot physically hurt me. So why would I allow it to let my heart go sky again? I'm like you. There's actually times where, holy shit, am I having a heart attack? Like, breathe, man. What's going on? And it's all because you believed in a thought that's created an emotion. So it's all internal. And I'm glad that you had that epiphany, that aha of like stress, anxiety, depression. Wait, fucking A, man. Anything that's in here, you can control.
Yep,
you have
100%.
to learn how to control what's in here. And again, everything in the world starts in here. Once you get these little concepts of, hey, man, it's actually worked. I'm not afraid of water anymore.
Yep.
I may not be a good swimmer, but
Yeah.
I don't look at a pool and start sweating bullets, you know.
Right.
That's a victory. Celebrate even that.
For sure. All right, guys. Well, this has been the show. I
Hell yeah.
think that was a lot of good shit. I think we'll leave it
Be
at that.
kind to yourself. That was
Yep.
a great
Be
nugget.
kind to yourself.
Be
for
kind
sure.
to yourself.
Watch the way you talk to yourself.
You're with yourself 24/7.
Thoughts control things.
For
so,
sure.
all right, guys, that's the show. Pay the fucking fee. You tell a
Smash
friend,
the
they
like.
tell a friend. DM us, tag me, TylerGata_DWL. Share it on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever the fuck it is, guys. If we added value to you at all, share the show. If we didn't, don't share the show. I'm cool with that too.
Cool.
Thanks, guys.
They told me to like when I get cocky. Ain't it funny how they think they can stop me? Try to be me, but I'm so sorry you not me. Try to be me.